Spencer, the Ravens lost a lot of big-name guys on that defensive side of the ball. Who are some names that are really stepping up and going to be big contributors for the Ravens on the defensive side of the ball this year?
Well, the first name you're looking at to step up in a position that feels a little more uncertain than it has in years past is Tyus Bowser. Bowser was recently extended for 4 years, around $22 million, which was a shockingly low figure when you're looking at what the going rate of young, capable outside linebackers in the NFL is. Bowser is a perfect fit as a Sam linebacker, which Matt Judon was previously occupying. The linebacker that can cover, that can rush the passer, beat up on tight ends a little bit, and set the edge in the run game. Setting the edge in the run game is something that prevented him from taking a lot of snaps over his first 2 seasons, but he has profoundly improved in terms of his hand placement and his ability to control the line of scrimmage and get off of blocks and make tackles. Then he also is arguably, in my opinion, he might be the best on ball or on the line of scrimmage coverage linebacker in the NFL. He was targeted 10 times last year. He allowed 5 receptions for 49 yards, and all 5 of the incompletions were by his action. It was 3 interceptions and 2 passes defended. He had some outstanding reps. There's reps of him against Kareem Hunt, one-on-one on a little bit of a blaze out route, him able to break across Kareem Hunt's face and snap the ball away and make a pass defend. And then there's also examples of him spot dropping in zone coverage where he's able to go intercept Ryan Tannehill over the middle of the field by bluffing the blitz. And he does the same thing to Baker Mayfield in that primetime shootout against the Browns late in the season. So Bowser is an ascending player still. He's a player that doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his body. He doesn't have a ton of sack production necessarily, but because the Ravens blitz in such a diverse and complex way at times and they overload pressure, there's not a lot of reps of him truly pinning his ears back and getting after it off the snap and rushing directly upfield in a penetrating manner like a TJ Watt or like another outside linebacker that doesn't have as much coverage responsibility. It's called low gear when a player comes off the ball and they kind of remain balanced off the snap and they analyze, is this a run? Is this a pass? They might have some edge responsibility in terms of contain or some coverage responsibility. But when he did pin his ears back, he was able to get pressure. He was second on the Ravens in pressures last year. So he has a well-rounded, versatile game. Is he going to be this all-pro player? It feels like probably not, but he could be, a Pro Bowl kind of guy that ends up with more pass rushes. He was only 70th among edge defenders in pass rushes last year with a little over 200. And like I said, a lot of those weren't true pass rush snaps. But if you tweak that up to, 400, 450 pass rushes, he could easily be an 8-9 sack guy who can match up on running backs and match up on tight ends and do some different things for you. So the Ravens are depending on Tyus Bowser to be worthwhile and be able to replicate some of what Matt Judon did and able to really lock down that Sam linebacker position. And, the group otherwise is consisting of Odafe Owe, who's an unproven rookie that's only been playing football for 6 years, Pernell McPhee, who's an aging veteran. They have Dalen Hayes, they drafted out of Notre Dame basically to be Tyus Bowser's backup. It feels like at that Sam position. Then they have Jalen Ferguson, who if he falters, I would anticipate the Ravens to make a move if they're not confident in him, maybe for a Justin Houston, or as the Ravens have done the last couple of years at the trade deadline and going after another, proven kind of pass rusher on a team that's struggling like they did last year with Yannick Ngakoue towards the deadline or something of the sort. So that's kind of the most uncertain starting position on the Ravens right now defensively. And then you look to their safety depth. That definitely is a big area of concern. You've got 2 guys you're confident in, Chuck Clark, Deshaun Elliott, who are pretty interchangeable. Clark plays a lot more up towards the line of scrimmage, but they certainly change roles. Elliott is kind of the single high guy at times, and Wink Martindale is very cautious, especially early in the year, sticking him 15, 18 yards back all the way on Mars, basically, to prevent anything deep after the loss of Earl Thomas. So I would think they would tinker there a little bit, but beyond that, they just don't have a ton of depth. So that's an area I'd look for them to make some moves potentially.